Hello and welcome back to episode 5 of RAW Sports Quaran-Stream. I am Josh Sim, your head of sport, and we rather excitingly have a big Saturday stream because the Bundesliga is back, everybody. We have live sport back in our lives once again. We are going to, it's return of Super Saturday, so we have two games that are being covered by two of my guests. And then I will kind of keep everyone up to speed with the other three games that we have going on right now. So yeah, all games should be kicking off, and I think it's best that we come to the biggest game of the week of Saturday, and maybe the biggest game of the weekend. Dortmund Schalke, the Revierderby. I think I pronounced it right. And let's go to Dami, who's covering this game for us today. Hello, Dami.
Hello. Yes. As you said, it's probably the biggest game of the Bundesliga weekend as well. So yeah, lineup for both teams. So I think Dortmund, the biggest kind of surprise for them is that there's no Jadon Sancho starting today. But I think he has a calf problem. But some people are saying apparently he's scared of the whole of the UK watching him today, hence why he's on the bench. But I don't know about that one. But yeah, so it's Roman Burke in goal, Hakimi at right back, Guerrero at left back, Akanji and Hummels in defense, Lucas Piszczek also in defense, Julian Brandt, Mahmoud Dahoud, and Giovanni Reina and Thomas Delaney in midfield, and Erling Haaland up front. And for Schalke, it's Schubert in goal with Caliguri, Ostrapa, and Nastasic, and Jean-Claire Todibo in defense alongside John Joe Kenny. Midfield is Salih Weston McKennie, Benito Roman, and Amin Harit. And up front is Stuart Serda, their top goal scorer. So, yeah.
Yeah, it should be an interesting game. And what are you expecting from this game? 'Cause obviously, it's a derby, so tensions are going to be high. Everyone's going to be up for it. Also, we're coming off a couple months now with no football, so everyone will definitely be pumped for it. But they also might be rusty. Team players might be, your first touch might be slightly off. It might take a bit of time to get up to speed. So what are you expecting? What are you looking forward to from this game?
I think for me, it'll be interesting to see how the both players deal with the lack of supporters. Because obviously, as we know, football without supporters doesn't really mean anything. And they can act as the proverbial 12th man. But obviously, with no supporters here, it will kind of be interesting to see which team kind of benefits from that a lot more. I guess maybe for the players' point of view, they might even maybe find it better because now they can actually communicate with each other, especially with the managers as well. Now they don't have to be screaming all the way from here. They can be able to give each other information. I guess for those as well who possibly understand German, it would be a fantastic kind of insight as well, just to be able to hear what goes on the pitch, because a lot of the time when we watch the game, we can never hear the instructions that are being said to each player. So I guess just even for the average fan who can understand German, would be a good insight for them into kind of like how it's played out at the top level of football. I think it will also be interesting to see, like you said as well, it's been a long time for both teams as well. I think almost 2 months without playing. So yeah, definitely kind of we were interested to see whether they can all last the full 90 minutes or whether, it'll be filled with players dropping like flies and, cramp and whatnot. But yeah, no, it'll be interesting. Obviously, I think it's a big day for German football as well, in the sense that, the whole world's kind of watching them and like everyone's basically using them as you could say guinea pig in a sense. If this goes well, then the rest of the league might follow suit and be like, okay, let's come back as soon as possible. If it doesn't, then they'll feel vindicated and say this is exactly why we haven't gone through with it. So yeah. Big day in a sense, not just for this game, but even for German football as a whole.
And a big day for Giovanni Reina, who gets his first start for Dortmund. As you said, no Jadon Sancho. He's on the bench. We believe it's an injury problem that he's carrying. What do you? I mean, because we've seen little bits from Giovanni Reina, like little bits of substitute appearances, a few flourishes here or there. Are you excited to see him? What do you think he's going to produce in today's game?
No, I like the look of him. I really like the look of him. He plays in the number 10 position, and which is obviously a position that's kind of going out of favoritism in today's football nowadays. But he plays it so well, people do say he reminds them of a young Mario Götze as well in the way he's happy to play the game with his back towards the goal as well. But he's always got those rear view mirrors on in a sense where he can find a pass, and he's got a nice finish as well. He's got a great composure. I mean, there's one, I think his first goal he scored as well. It was a lovely goal. He gets the ball, beats one player, beats another one, and then the edge of the box, just kind of on the right side, just curls it into the top corner as well. So no, he's got a lot about him, and like you said as well, at the tender age of 17, it's a lot of responsibility. But I think he's handling it well. Not only this responsibility, but also kind of being seen along with Christian Pulisic as kind of like the future of American football as well. So yeah, there's a lot of responsibility on the young man's shoulders. But he's got a great dad in called Claudio Reyna as well, former Premier League football. He played for Sunderland as well. So I'm sure he's got a good kind of support system around him to help him keep him grounded in that sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we said, Dami's got the Dortmund Schalke game, so we'll come back to him in just a bit for a little bit of insight to how the game's going on, and hopefully we'll have a few goals. So thanks for that, Dami. We're gonna just take it out, and now we'll come back to the second game that we've got live coverage of, and it's a mid-table game. It's certainly two teams that are kind of 9th and 13th, so kind of very much in the middle with just like it's a bit of a they're not trying to kind of avoid relegation as such, although Hertha Berlin might be trying to avoid relegation with a win in this game. And Luke Edwards is now with me. Luke, what you've obviously watched the start of the game. What's your first kind of impressions from it?
First impressions, been incredibly rusty. Hoffenheim looked a little bit more on it at the moment. You've also got to consider that this is actually quite a strange circumstance for Hertha Berlin, especially because they're playing their first game with a new manager, Labadia, who joined in April after they sacked Jurgen Klinsmann. This is their fourth manager that they've gone through this season. They've had a bit of a turbulent time of it. And it's no surprise that Hoffenheim playing on their home pitch seem to be that little bit more sharp. We'll just go through the lineups very quickly. So for Hoffenheim in goal, it's Captain Oliver Baumann, the back three of Posch, Kevin Akpoguma, and Hübner, with a midfield four of Kaderabek, very highly rated, particularly this season, had a very good year. Grilic, Sebastian Rudi, veteran central midfielder, and Steven Zuber, the Swiss international. They've then got a front three of Robert Skov. He's amazing again. Ilas Bebu, summer signing from Hanover, and Christian Müller. On the side of Hertha Berlin in goal, it's Rune Jarstein with a back four of Peter Pekarek, Dedrick Boyata, remember him for Man City. I cannot pronounce this guy's name. Toruna Riga is the guy partnering Boyata with Mark Plattenhardt at left back. Pivot of Skelbred and Marco Grujic on loan from Liverpool, and a three in front of those are Luka Bacchio, Mateusz Cunha, and Max Mittelstadt, with veteran striker Vedad Ibišević leading the line. As I said, good start so far for Hoffenheim. Hertha slowly starting to ease themselves into the game, but nothing really going for either team so far.
Yeah, and both sides, as we said, mid-table, although Hertha are, a little bit more at risk in terms of the relegation zone. What are you looking forward to in this game, and what do you kind of expect as well?
I'm expecting a really rusty cage game, particularly to begin with. These teams haven't played in ages, so I'm not expecting world-class football. What I will say is both teams seem to have very strong benches, particularly on the side of Hertha Berlin. They've got the likes of Javiero Dilros, who used to play for Manchester City. He's on their bench. He seems like a very tight player. Famously, I think he's kind of well known for his long shots. They've also got Krzysztof Piątek. Time at Milan over the past season, had scored 32 goals last year, hasn't really this year. He'll be hoping that this will have allowed him to reset and get back into the form that he has shown in the past. So if he comes on, maybe he will be a bit of a thing that Hoffenheim will have to think about. Overall, I think going on later on as this game progresses, I think things will start to ease up a little bit. But for now, there's a lot of fouls being committed. All these players do seem a little bit rusty. Few stray passes that wouldn't normally go where they should do. So we'll see what happens. But I'm not expecting high quality football by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah. For sure, it's going to take some time for players to kind of get back into that match ability and match fitness for sure. Thanks, Luke. So we will come back to you in just a bit. So I'll just run through the other games that we've got. So obviously Leipzig versus Freiburg. Leipzig, obviously everyone knows for slaying Tottenham in the Champions League and just having an impressive young group of talent. I was running through the lineup. So Peter Galati starts in goal for them. It's a back three of Lucas Klosterman, Tyler Adams, and Holstenberg. We've got the wing backs of Nordi Micheli and Angelino, who played for City early on in the season, if you remember, Manchester City. Konrad Lima and Kevin Campbell are your two centre midfielders, and then your three up front. You have Timo Werner, obviously, long-standing Liverpool transfer target. He is flanked by Yusuf Poulsen on the left and Christopher Nkunku on the right, who's had a very good season since joining from Paris Saint-Germain. Freiburg also go for 3-4-3. You got Schwolo in goal. You're going to tell we're going to butcher a lot of these pronunciations today. Gulde, Leinhardt, and Heinz are the back three. Schmid, who's having he's got 4 goals in the Bundesliga this season. Very good attacking right back, and Günther on the left. Robin Koch and Hoffler are in the midfield too, and then the front three of Niels Peterson, flanked by Salai and Griffo. So that's your lineups for Leipzig. Freiburg, that's still 0-0, although Christopher Nkunku's gone close to opening the deadlock. Near the bottom of the table, you have Fortuna Düsseldorf against bottom side Paderborn. So very much a quote unquote a relegation 6-pointer, if you like. And again, we will be monitoring that game. That is definitely a game to keep an eye on for the bottom of the table. And then we have also FC Augsburg against Wolfsburg. Augsburg without their manager, Heiko Herrlich, who broke quarantine rules earlier this week for buying toothpaste and skin cream, and hence leaving the hotel. And so he is not on the sidelines. And he too, like Bruno Labbadia of Hertha Berlin, he is managing his first game for the club, so not a great start for him. But 0-0 so far in all 5 games, and yeah, it should be a very interesting game. Let's go to Dami just to get some first impressions from the first 10 minutes of the game. So Dami, you've seen the first 10-12 minutes or so. How is it got that derby edge that it normally has, or does the lack of atmosphere take something away from it?
I mean, no, for sure, definitely the lack of atmosphere, as kind of everyone expected, does it does take away quite a bit from the game. But so far it's been an okay start for both teams. I think probably the player who's looked the most lively has been Amin Harit of Schalke. He's had a few runs at the Dortmund defense, a few mazy runs, managed to win a free kick kind of in a dangerous area on the edge of the box, but the resulting free kick just went straight into the wall. But yeah, overall it's been okay. Nothing like of noteworthy that I can really give to you. And I must say it is very kind of strange to see John Joe Kenny in a Schalke kit. I think it's a big tribute to Jadon Sancho for kind of setting this whole trend of young English players going abroad to play football, because I feel like if we maybe went back maybe 10 15 years before, someone like John Joe Kenny, born and raised in Liverpool, like he breeds Merseyside, you probably you never imagine someone like him would have the courage to go abroad to a club like Schalke. But obviously the immediate success of Jadon Sancho has given players like that more kind of belief that it can work for them. So yeah, man, it's just I just thought that was quite interesting to see. I don't know, it just seems so weird seeing him in the German the Bundesliga.
Yeah, and you've got Rabbi Mutondo's on the bench as well for Schalke.
Yeah, exactly. I forgot.
Welsh, isn't he? So there's certainly a British presence, a British flavour to this game.
Yeah, something there at least.
Any big chances so far? Both teams kind of still feeling themselves out.
Nah, definitely both still feeling themselves, both still trying to ease into the game. I can imagine obviously with here's Hakwa Fakimi, he's down the right side. There's space, plays it. Oh, what a defense! So I think Reina plays a lovely ball over to Creamy down the right hand side. He's in acres of space and he's driving into the box and just kind of flashes it across the edge of the box. And it's a great last stitch defending. I don't know who it was there, but yeah, and he clears it away. But that's first real big opening of the game. Then he's gone to Dortmund, especially from Hakimi. I'm not surprised. He's had a really fantastic season this year. Will be interesting to see if Real Madrid, bring him back or if he stays there yet again, But yeah, first big chance of the game goes to Dortmund.
Yeah. Oh wow. So there we go. The black and yellow making a strong start to this game against Schalke. Thanks.
Yeah,
Dami.
I'm just watching the replay now. Yeah, yes, Hakimi. He's got acres of space, and this is where he needs composure. And to be fair, he's done well. He's actually done the best that he could there. So really nice, inviting low ball right into that corridor of uncertainty. But that's unbelievable defending, I must say. You see, at first you think he's kind of gone ahead of the ball too much, the defender, but then somehow he's managed to kind of like just hook his leg behind his back to kind of clear it away to stop Torgan Hazard from basically tapping it into an empty net. So no, great defending there.
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully we get a first goal. It'd be interesting to see which game gets us the first goal, but certainly these two teams, yeah, definitely it's a derby. So we're hoping for all of it. Thanks, Dami. We will check back out. Yeah, so big chance for Dortmund to start, and let's hope that they kind of come through it. Since we do have a bit of time, I'll run through the Dusseldorf Paderborn lineups that we had. So in goal we have Kastenmeier for Dusseldorf, a back three of Ayhan, Hoffmann and Gieselmann. You've got the wing backs of Zimmermann and Marcus Suttner, who used to play for Brighton fairly recently, and then Stoger and Sobotka in the midfield two, with Berisha and Tommy flanking Karaman up front for Dusseldorf, and then on for the away team for Paderborn, you got Zingel in goal. You got back four of Draga, Hunemeyer, Schonlau, and Collins. The kind of defensive pivot, if you like, is Giasula, and then we got Vasialidis and Antwi Ajay flanking him in the centre midfield, and then front three of Proga, Shreni, and Dennis Zemski. Oh my goodness, this is a bit of a minefield. But that's the Paderborn team. Three up front, obviously intent to win this game and try and get themselves out of the relegation zone. And yeah, so 18 or so minutes gone, I believe. Yeah, so I'm guessing we'll check back in with Luke Edwards. I don't know, Luke, has much happened or not, but yeah,
no,
go for it.
Not so much so far. I mean, there has been a bit of a change in the Hertha Berlin seems to have gotten themselves back into the game. It's much more even. That's just come up. Both teams have won 50% of their challenges, and the possession is 53% in Hoffenheim's favour. So it's really quite a cagey game, as I was saying earlier. Hertha seems to have got a little bit more control in the game. Jojo Bacco is finding a lot of space. He's kind of switching between both wings and just finding space wherever he can really find it. And you can see with the way that Hoffenheim set up with that three back, they do have a lot of space in behind the wing backs that Hertha are looking to exploit. So that's a very clear part of their game plan. Luka Bacco is a key part of that. Just had our first injury tweak. Nothing's really come of it. It looked like Majani for back for Hertha Berlin, Toruna Riga. But as I say this, Hoffenheim just picked up the ball out wide, and they seem to Hertha Berlin backpedaling a little bit. It's come to nothing. They cleared up. But man of the match so far, just from players that I've seen, Florian Grillitsch has had a very good game so far for in midfield for Hoffenheim. I think as Hertha Berlin are throwing goal, this could be the first shot of the match. Nope, it is cleared by Sebastian Ruud getting back to thwart Vedad Ibišević of Hertha Berlin. But Hertha's definitely getting themselves back into the game. Florian Grillitsch in the Hoffenheim midfield is doing very well. It's an interesting game so far. You can just tell both teams are rusty. The speed of play isn't quite what you'd be expecting, especially from the Bundesliga. It's going to take a few weeks for these teams to get back into their flow, particularly where they've had no preseason or anything. They've just had 2 months off and they've been kind of thrown in at the deep end. So we'll see what happens. As I say, Hertha starting to get themselves into a game a little bit more, and Hoffenheim will hope that they can drop back the wing backs a little bit more and try and stop Hertha from exploiting the space behind.
Yeah, and just for people who may not be watching this game, maybe just take us behind the scenes. Just tell us what the kind of atmosphere what kind of, obviously they do like wide stadium shots. What is it? Is it literally just?
No, it's very. You can tell that the TV companies are keen on making the pitch as claustrophobic as possible. They're kind of making sure it's zoomed in for the sake of, it's very obvious that there's no supporters in the ground, and they're kind of not letting you see anything beyond the advertising hoardings. It helps that in this stadium, the stands you've got sort of like 2 rows of advertising hoardings, which means they can hide the empty seats a little bit better. But it's noticeable with the camera angles they're choosing. They're trying to show as little of the stadium beyond the pitch as they possibly can. Yeah,
absolutely. You just have I mean, all the focus is on the football, really. And yeah, with no supporters, it's going to be it's a very interesting, not the ideal situation, but an interesting one. So yeah, thanks for that, Luke, for that brief update. So again, as we said, no goals so far to report. So I figure it gives me an opportunity to go for the Augsburg versus the Wolfsburg lineups. So in goal, we've got Luth, and then a back four of Framberger, Sushi, Jedvad, and Philippe Max, who's had a very good season as from left back. In midfield, 2 of Khedira, not Sami Khedira, but another Khedira, and Bayer as your midfield 2, and then the kind of midfield 3 in front, Marco Richter, Edward Lowen, and Ruben Vargas, all 3 who are definitely attacking threats on their day. And then up front, leading the line, is Florian Niederlechner, who's he scored 11 goals this season, and he looks to be a key player for Augsburg as they try to get themselves away from the relegation zone if possible. As for Wolfsburg, we got Castells in goal. We got Kevin Mbabu on the right, Otavio on the left, and then as the centre back pairing is Pongrasic and Brooks. Your midfield 2 in front, Xaver Schlanger, who had a very good season at RB Salzburg and earned his move to Wolfsburg. He's there alongside Maximilian Arnold, who again another solid midfielder who's having a very good season for Wolfsburg. And then your advanced 3, you got Victor, Switzerland international, Ami Mehmedi, and then Josip Brekalo from Croatia as well. Leading the line is Stefan for Wolfsburg, who was 7th in the table, Augsburg 14th. So slightly a bit more lopsided than some of the other games in terms of table placing. But of course, with no football going on for the last month or so, everyone's a bit of a level playing field, unless you're watching Union Berlin versus Bayern Munich, where it's not really a level playing field. So yeah, not a whole lot of games going on. Obviously, as I said, Zweite Bundesliga had a few games go on earlier today. We will rattle through those results during the halftime kind of score update. But there's plenty of other leagues to coming back soon. We have dates confirmed for the Austrian Bundesliga, the other Bundesliga, if you like. We've got dates from Poland. We have confirmation the Danish league is on its way back, the Superliga. So we've got plenty of footballs coming back to commentate on. If you're missing your football and you don't really mind going beyond the English football game. Obviously, on the other side of the spectrum, we had Belgium bring their league to a halt completely. Club Brugge were declared champions. And League 2 also decided to stop their season. I think they're going straight to the playoffs, is what I believe, and they're doing a points per game ranking. So, yeah, so some leagues, every leagues are being forced into decision, or some leagues at least, are being forced into making decisions. And yeah, we still have no word on Project Restart. That's still ongoing. In France and in Spain and Italy, they're back to training, so we might have a return. We do have a date for Serie A. I believe it's middle of June. I think that's what it is. So got a lot of European football coming back. So keep it on this YouTube channel. Subscribe, like the video as well, share it. Things I didn't think I was going to say at the start of my Head of Sport time, but here we go. We're on YouTube now. And yeah, follow our Twitter account and our Instagram account as we bring all the news bits and pieces together from all across the sporting spectrum. Let's check back in with Dami. I think we're the halfway mark of the first half, I think, roughly or so. Dortmund had a great chance earlier on. Have they been able to build on that, or have Schalke kind of given a response? Should we say?
No, Schalke they've not really given a response, but they've just kind of managed to, steady the tide a little bit. Torgan Hazard is still running, still kind of messing around the Schalke defense a little bit. There have been times when Dortmund, especially, they have looked more dangerous when Schalke actually have the ball than when they do have the ball, because in those moments when Schalke instantly lose possession, they're able to spring and counter them quite quickly. And before you know it, you've got players like Torgan Hazard and Giovanni Reina. They're turning and they've got like acres of space to be able to run into, but they've not really been able to convert that space into anything meaningful so far. I mean, Hazard just had one of those kind of transitional plays as well, where he's got the ball and he's running. He managed to get a free kick again on the edge of the box, but just like with Schalke's, when he goes, the free kick is kind of played straight into the wall. So yeah, both teams still. Nearly. Nearly a chance for the wonder kid. Yeah, Erling Haaland. So Brandt takes the corner. He gets cleared out. He gets another buyer. He plays a much better ball this time. Flicks the defender Todibo flicks it away, and he just falls to Haaland at the back post. He does well to control it with chest, and I think he's got a defender coming up to him closer, so he has to take it very quickly. It's a bit of a snapshot, but he just goes to the side netting. But yeah, first chance for Erling Haaland. And wasn't able to work the goalkeeper there, but I'm sure we'll have a lot more.
Yeah, and we should probably update for people. Obviously, we talked about Gio Reyna. He's actually, from what Twitter's telling me, he got injured in the warm up, and that's why Torgan Hazard's playing.
Did he? Oh wow!
That's what. Yeah, look, it's live reaction. I literally just turned on to football Twitter, and that's what they've told me. So that's why we haven't seen. What is it? Is it now Hazard? Who's the front three? Hazard, Haaland.
Okay, because his name was put on the team sheet at the start of the game by BT Sport, but I didn't even realize that they're taking him off. Oh, my bad.
No. That's it's when you get an injury in the warm up, everything kind of happens at the same time. So what is it now? Front three of Brandt, Hazard, and Haaland.
Yeah.
Not obviously the strongest, but how's like the fluidity up front? How is it? Is it still a bit rusty? Still kind of, you make a run and we'll see what happens, or is it kind of very much like a well-oiled machine?
No, I wouldn't really say well-oiled machine. It's kind of it's like what I expect. There's a bit of there's some nice interchangeable players going on, but on the overall, it's still a lot of players who are still feeling themselves and just trying to work their way. Oh, is there a chance? Serda, and again, and Berkey catches it. Oh wow, so lucky there from Manuel Akanji. So I think the ball comes in, Caligari delivers the cross in. Akanji heads it, but his header comes back of Hummels and falls to the feet. I think Stuart Serda, he does well to manage to control it, and he has a shot kind of from 7 yards out. But Berkey uses his feet to save it. But yeah, first chance for Schalke as well. And now it seems like the game is starting to hot up a bit, and the chances are coming in now a lot more than they were in the previous 22 minutes.
Yeah, and that's it is going to be one of those games where kind of a chance out of nowhere kind of might decide the game for sure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
both
I
teams.
I do think it's probably, like you say, it seems more likely that it would be a mistake that will probably give us the first goal here, rather than a piece of magic or some great play from both teams in that sense.
Yeah, absolutely. We will come back to you, I guess, but two big
Cool.
chances from one from each side, so still fairly even, yeah, still
Yeah,
quite an even game.
yeah, still quite even, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll come back to you in a sec. Just gonna plug quickly. We have the Bundesliga. We're doing a fantasy Bundesliga, the Ball versus RAW. So that's in our. I think if you look at I think it's on our Twitter account. I think we've retweeted it. It's in the Facebook group, the RAW Sport 2019-20 group. Join that as well for updates on all these broadcasts. If you're a student at University of Warwick. And yeah, we've got a fantasy league going on, so please join it. It's not too late, absolutely not. And look, obviously we're biased. We're trying to look for a win for radio against the Ball, but just join it. It's a lot of fun and definitely kind of is a good way. It's something to just pass some time with, at least, and fill that football void that you may have in your lives right now. So hang on, Dammy, you've got a big update for us.
Yes, we've got our first goal, and
Wow.
it's the wonder kid again. It's Erling Haaland with the finish. It's a great ball in from. Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's come from Hacker Hakimi. He's had an amazing season, and he's just kind of continued in vain in this game. It's a lovely ball. The ball comes to Julian Brandt. He just flicks it around the corner. Oh no, it's not Hakimi. Sorry, it's Torgan Hazard. Brandt flicks it around the corner. Torgan Hazard runs onto it. First time ball in, just kind of like the ball that Hakimi played previously, into that code of uncertainty. And there's Erling Haaland just in there to tap it in. I mean, it looks like an easy finish, but trust me, it's not, because that ball's coming at a really fast pace, and it bounces just before he's about to tap it in as well. So he's got to be able to guide and control into the far corner, and it's a lovely goal, and it's a very nice celebration at the end. He's just there kind of bobbing his head, and while all the other players, obviously, they can't run up to him, and they have to keep 2 meters distance away. But yeah, great goal.
So Dortmund take the lead in the derby. First goal of the weekend. First goal in the Bundesliga so far. Would you say they've deserved their lead, going 1-0 up?
Yeah, I would say so. They've been the team more on the ascendancy. They've had the lion's share of possession, and yeah, it is more or less deserved for them to be 1-0 up. But like I said, Schalke have shown in a few occasions that they do pose a bit of a threat. So I'm not going to rule them out just yet.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's see what happens. Let's see if Schalke come back. The Royal Blues, can they respond? Yeah. Thanks for that, Dammy. We'll take you out and bring you back in if anything happens. Let's go. We haven't talked to Luke. Well, I say we haven't talked to him in a while. We haven't talked to him in 10 minutes. But Luke Edwards, is there any big chances to note?
Yeah, actually, the game's kind of brightened up a little bit. It's good. So Hoffenheim have had the better chances. So since you last talked to me, so in 24th minute, Ilas Bebu, who's been a bit of a threat, probably the biggest threat that on the Hoffenheim side, had a snapshot, was really well blocked by Torino Riga in the Hertha Berlin defence, particularly considering he took a knock early on. He's definitely improved since then. And then 27th minute, biggest chance of the game, teasing across from Kaderabek. You can see why he's so highly rated. Teases it into the area, absolutely horrible for the defenders to deal with, and it falls to Christoph Baumgartner, the left winger for Hoffenheim. And he just sort of doesn't hit it quite as truly as he should have done. He kind of scuffs the shot, and it's easily saved by the Hertha Berlin goalkeeper. And since then, Revierderby had to foul Ilas Bebu again as he was running through on goal. He was only given a yellow card for that, probably understandably, but I know because I did a Brighton career mode in FIFA 18, and Ilas Bebu was someone I signed, and he's dead quick. So yeah, definitely the right decision from Boyata. Hertha Berlin now have a free kick in a relatively decent position. I'm going to watch it. It's going to be floated in, and it's from Dedrick Boyata back post, and it's cleared, very well cleared there. I believe it was Baumgartner who got his foot to the clearance, and it's cleared again, tackle from Robert Skov. But yeah, it seems like the game's brightened up a little bit. Very impressed with Matej Cunha on the side of Hertha Berlin. He seems like a very tidy footballer, very creative, gets himself into some very good positions. So yeah, the quality of the game is definitely increased, and the teams have started to ease themselves into it. Slowly, the pitch is slowly starting to open up. Peter Pekarik, the veteran right back for Hertha Berlin, slowly starting to find some space on the right hand side. I'm expecting goals in this one, Josh. I wasn't 10 minutes ago, but now I'm thinking, yeah, there's probably going to be a couple of goals in this game.
Yeah, and we do have a goal in actually one of the other games. Leipzig have fallen a goal behind. They have fallen a goal behind. The defender, Manuel Goldi, has scored for Freiburg. So that look, you've watched enough of Leipzig, Luke. You expect Leipzig to they definitely have the quality to fight back, but going a goal behind is never an ideal situation.
Yeah, for sure. But you've also considered that, Freiburg have massively overachieved this season. I believe they are I think they're 7th or something. This is the side that shouldn't be where they are. This, obviously we've gone into this game thinking these guys actually pose a bit of a threat to us. So I'm not too surprised that they've gone 1-0 down. At the same time, you'd expect Leipzig to clean up. They've got plenty of time to go and get themselves back into the game and try and get the victory and keep that pressure up on Bayern Munich, because they might not have a better chance to win the title ever again, or certainly for a very long time. So yeah, massively looking forward to see what Leipzig do. I would hope on their behalf that Julian Nagelsmann will be able to get them back into the game, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, and Freiburg, if the result is as it is, they jump up as high as 6th place. So that could be a huge win. Obviously, the Bundesliga table very much closely contested. So Luke, yeah, we'll come back to you in a sec. If you had to pick a team to score first, who would you say? Just to finish up.
It's got to be Hoffenheim. Bebu is causing all kinds of problems, and Kaderabek's finding a lot of space on the right hand side for Hoffenheim. So I would have to go for Hoffenheim.
Cool. And we will be back with you shortly. So as we said, Freiburg, they could jump up to 6th place if they hold on and beat Leipzig, who would remain 4 points behind. But as Dortmund's goal means that they are just a point behind Bayern Munich, who play on Sunday against Union Berlin. So implications for the top of the table for sure. Let's take that goal thing down. So at the moment, we have a Dortmund lead Schalke 1-0 thanks to Erling Haaland's strike. Freiburg lead the away side, take a 1-0 lead over Leipzig. Manuel Goldi with that goal, and then it's goalless in the remaining 3 games: Hoffenheim versus Hertha Berlin, Dusseldorf against Paderborn, and Augsburg versus Wolfsburg. So 0-0 for those 3 games. So yes, we will hopefully have a few more goals to talk about at halftime, and we shall see what happens. But as I said, keep it on RAW Sport. Join the fantasy league. As I said, we've got from the Raw side, we've got four or five teams representing. So that's pretty good, and we're gonna hopefully beat the Boar. And we are going to beat the Boar. We hope. We are definitely going to beat the Boar. With their 5 or 4 teams. So yeah, as I said, join the fantasy league. A lot of fun, and hopefully, maybe not for the rest of the Premier League season, but definitely next season we will try and get a fantasy league also up and running as well. So yeah, not a whole lot, and this is obviously we don't have music to play through, so this is the joys of doing this on YouTube on live stream. But yeah, I'm just running through the ground about 5 minutes or so before halftime. We'll run through. So we've got later on at the 5:30 or the late evening kickoff, we've got Eintracht Frankfurt against Borussia Mönchengladbach. That should be a very interesting game. Frankfurt obviously had a very good run in the Europa League last season. Gladbach, a very exciting team to watch under Marco Rose. Sunday, you have FC Cologne against Mainz in the afternoon kickoff. Both teams in the bottom half, so both teams will be looking to get a win and just establish more distance between themselves and the relegation zone. You've got Union Berlin against Bayern Munich, as we mentioned, as the evening kickoff. Bayern, obviously, the favourites to win the Bundesliga for sure, and a lot of expectation that they will get through the remaining 9 or so games. But Union Berlin have been one of the big stories of the Bundesliga season. And that is an exciting game to look forward to. And then Monday night, you have Werder Bremen against Bayer Leverkusen closing out the weekend. Leverkusen mathematically have a chance of pushing for the title, so definitely one to keep a team to keep an eye out on. And as for Werder Bremen, they need results badly and quickly if they are going to get out of the relegation zone. And yeah, definitely watch out for, I believe, Milo Rashica plays for Bremen. He's been linked with a few Premier League clubs. Keep an eye on him. As we kind of come to the end or so of the first halves, or at least getting there. 2 goals in 2 of the games. 1 goal was in one of the games we've got, Dortmund Schalke, as we said. And just a quick update from Dami just before. I mean, we've got 5 minutes before half time, but what have you made from the first half so far?
It's been good. No, it's been nice. It's been good to see some football back on our screens. Obviously in quite weird circumstances. Overall, it's been okay. It's not been anything I would say out of this world or anything wildly exciting. But I think for everybody, we're just kind of happy to see a bit of football back, to be honest. So at this moment in time, we'll kind of just take anything, But yeah, Dortmund have been, like I said, the team who've had the lion's share of possession. So I'm not surprised that they are winning. Hakimi, just before he came to me, also made a really strong run down the right hand side. And the ball comes it's a goal kick played from Berkey, and the ball looks like it's about to go out. He manages to keep it in, then controls it, and as he just keeps on running down that right hand side, manages to get the ball down to the byline, and somehow is able to pull it back, and you've got it's a pass from one fullback to the other, with Guerrero then coming in at the back post, and he tries to place it into the top corner of his left foot, but he's not able to do so, and the ball sails over the bar. But yeah, overall, it's been Dortmund. He's shown more attacking intent, and I'll be surprised if they don't score another goal in this half, especially later on in the game when the substitutes start to come in, because I think they can all use 5 substitutes now as well.
Yeah, I think so.
When you've got lots of fresh legs coming on, especially in such a situation where you've got players coming back after a 2-month layoff, I can see a lot of goals kind of going in there. Oh, here's Hakimi. Oh, nearly had another chance. I guess that man again, Hakimi as well. Sometimes you wonder if he's a right back or if he's a right wing. To be the way he's literally always up in the opponent's penalty box is it's quite amazing, to be honest with you. But yeah, the ball comes to Haaland. Just like I said before as well, Dortmund are looking more dangerous when Schalke have the ball. So Schalke get the ball, they lose it. Dortmund transition, and then ball comes to Haaland. He gets the ball, looks up, finds Hakimi, making a long bursting run, plays him in. He's going in, and he's tried to just have a shot right across the face of the goal, but it's kind of blocked out for a corner kick. Oof.
Yeah. So
nearly. Sorry. Nearly. We have another nearly a goal again, but it comes from Dahoud. So from the horizontal corner, the ball's headed out, and there's Dahoud kind of left alone on the edge of the box, and he gets a really good connection on the volley, but Salif Sane heads it out, and it goes up for another corner again.
So definitely Dortmund seem to be the stronger team. We'll come back to you at half time if that's cool. So definitely the game that has the most action going on for sure is the derby, and it's not a huge surprise. We do have a goal in another game. Let me grab the goal banner. There we go. And it is Wolfsburg that take the lead at Augsburg. So Wolfsburg have scored. Renato Stefan, the lone striker up front, he has scored. It means Wolfsburg They take the lead, and they overtake Freiburg. Should the results stand as they are, they will jump into 6th place. A very good start for them. And considering Wolfsburg have a very good midfield, and I wouldn't be surprised if that midfield played a huge part in that. Xaver Schlanger, Max Arnold, some very talented midfielders there. So Wolfsburg have taken the lead. It means now that 3 games are currently 1-0 as at the moment. With that, so as we said, Dortmund lead Schalke 1-0, thanks to Erling Haaland's strike. Leipzig trail to Freiburg 1-0, thanks to Manuel Goldi's back heel, as Twitter have informed me. Dusseldorf 0-0, it's Paderborn that's still goalless. Hoffenheim versus Hertha Berlin, as Luke Edwards watches for us, that is still goalless. And finally, as we just said, Augsburg, Wolfsburg taking the lead for Renato Stefan. A header from 14 yards, and he's 5'5". I've just seen, so that is remarkable to score a header from such a small height. I would know because I'm very much at a small height. So as the halves kind of come to an end, so just checking. Oh, and let's check in with Dami. How do you think this half's going to end for both teams?
I think I'm expecting to just end with Dortmund winning 1-0. I think obviously they'll be the much more happier of the 2 teams. It will be interesting to see what Schalke do at halftime. I can imagine now that they've got more substitutes, I can imagine the manager might be tempted to just make like maybe 1 or 2 subs at halftime. Just bring on some fresh legs because they do need something new. I'm not quite sure what it is, but just something different, just to give them a bit more of a dangerous, like just give them some more dangerous look about the attack, because right now it's gone a bit stale, But yeah, so that's a poor clearance from the goalkeeper. Here's Dortmund on the attack. Haaland's played him in. And it's a goal. And
it's a goal.
It's 2-0. It's 2-0
oh my goodness.
to Dortmund. Oh wow, it's 2-0 to Dortmund.
Talk us through it.
It's a fantastic finish from Rafael, but that's poor goalkeeping, I have to say. I'm really sorry. It's giving me shades of what do you call his name? The former Liverpool goalkeeper. I forgot his name, man. But
Carrier?
Yes, Carriers. Yes, it's not Liverpool. But yeah, the goalkeeper tries to gets the clearance, but he makes an absolute hash of the clearance. He plays it straight back to a Dortmund player. The Dortmund player plays it straight to Erling Haaland. He gets the ball. He's able to turn. No, sorry, he plays it to Julian Brandt. Brandt gets the ball. He's able to turn, and then he sees Guerrero making a long bursting run right in front of him. The pass is just lovely right in front of him. Good weight of pass, where Guerrero, all he just has to do is take one touch to control it, and bang, he just rifles it across the goalkeeper, and he goes into the far corner, and it's 2-0 to Dortmund, and it looks like it could be a long way back here for Schalke. I'm sorry.
No, it's and a late goal there for Dortmund makes it a slightly more comfortable team talk. Definitely makes it slightly more comfortable. And I think the games are coming up to half time. So I'll just have it take you off for a sec. And yes, I do, Luke. Hang on, I will. Luke Edwards, your games come up to half time, right?
Yeah.
What have you made of the first half?
Very cagey to begin with, particularly the first half of the first half. Not really happening. Things have opened up towards the end, though. We've seen, we saw Elas Bebu went close for Hoffenheim, as did Christoph Baumgartner. And Hertha Berlin on the counter attack actually looked really dangerous. So we've seen Matheus Cunha go very close. Ibisevic nabbed the ball on the edge of the area from Hubner, the centre back for Hoffenheim, and he just squares it across the goal. And it's only Cunha and the difference between the goal and Cunha is Oliver Baumann, the goalkeeper for Hoffenheim, and he just makes himself incredibly big. Absolutely no chance really of getting the ball past him. He just pretty much pounces onto the ball. And yeah, since then there's been a couple of opportunities. Cunha's picked up the ball in some really good positions. He just hasn't been able to find the finished product. And I think Hoffenheim will be happy to be going into this into halftime without having conceded. Dedrick Boyata, coincidentally, for Hertha Berlin, very lucky to still be on the pitch. He went down. He committed a foul on Ilas Pebu early in the first half, and in the second half, this in the first half of the first half, and in the second half of the first half, I'm overcomplicating this. He pretty much lunged in. Hertz had a free kick, and he was up for the corner, and he lunged in afterwards on one of the Hoffenheim players and completely took him out. And it's one of those differences with the crowd where you just kind of think, if they'd been in a situation where the crowd was there, the crowd with the knowledge that Boyata's on a yellow card, he's just committed a needless foul where he's lunged in on a player. You just maybe wonder if they pressured the referee into maybe thinking about things a little bit differently. Maybe not necessarily giving him a second yellow card and sending him off, but it'd be interesting to see if Boyata commits another foul in the second half, if that has any impact on whether or not he gets a yellow card or not. Will he be able to get away with it because there's been no real pressure and he doesn't have this kind of pantomime villain tag attached to him? So yeah, it's an interesting one. I'm going to be really intrigued by the second half. I'm mostly interested by the kind of substitutions both teams are going to make. I really want to see Krzysztof Piątek at some point. I think he's a great striker. He's just had a bit of a. I don't just think he's just had a bit of a lack of confidence this season. He's gone through so many different managers. I just think maybe with a little bit of stability, he's had a couple of months off. Let him reset. Maybe in the second half, we'll maybe see a bit of the Genoa edition of Krzysztof Piątek that we saw. So yeah, looking forward to the second half. Hopefully, we'll get some more goals or some goals altogether.
Yeah, and we'll bring you and Dami together in a sec just to give a bit of a roundup, a bit of a panel discussion at halftime. I'm just going to do the halftime score update. So yeah, let's go. I mean, we don't have the sound effects for the halftime score update, but I will just read them out. So as we said, Dortmund lead Schalke 2-0. Erling Haaland opened the scoring for the home side, and then Rafael Guerrero, oh goodness, I can't really pronounce names. He doubled the score just before halftime to make it more comfortable for Dortmund. 2-0 up they are. Wolfsburg lead Augsburg thanks to Renato Stefan's header just before halftime as well. Goalless between Dusseldorf and Paderborn, the two relegation-threatened sides. That remains goalless. Leipzig fall a goal behind thanks to Manuel Gold's back heel. So they have a bit of work to do for sure. And as Luke said, Hoffenheim goalless with Hertha Berlin, the late kickoff being Eintracht Frankfurt hosting Borussia Mönchengladbach. In the Zwei Bundesliga, and we said it before, there were a few games that took place. So FC Erzgebirge, I have no idea how to pronounce their name. They won 3-1 against Sandhausen. Nazarov scored a penalty. Krugen and Kak Usalua, oh my goodness, he scored for the home side. Biada scored a consolation goal for the away side. They had a red card in the 4th minute. Dijkmeyer got sent off, so not a great return to football for him. Karlsruhe won 2-0 against Darmstadt. Hoffmann and Wanitzek scored the 2 goals. Jan Regensburg and Holsten Kiel, that encounter finished 2-2 with some late drama, but Lee Jae-sung scored first for the away side. They doubled the lead for Porath, but the home side they got themselves back into it. Stolz with the first goal, and then a late penalty from Albers to rescue a point for them. And the final game that took place, Bochum took a comfortable 3-0 win over Heidenheim. Lucila, Ose Tutu, and Ganvula all scoring there. None of those 8 teams are in contention to get into promotion so far. Those teams, like Arminia Bielefeld and Hamburg, they play, I believe, later on in the weekend. But that is basically the halftime score update. So if I bring back both my guests when they're ready. So Luke Edwards will bring in, and Dami, there we go. So, a tentative start from all the games as we kind of expected, a bit of rustiness. But I mean, isn't it great to have live football back in our lives again?
I missed it so much, Josh. Yeah, even I've actually watched this game on mute, so I haven't really, like I normally do when we do these kinds of streams, so it hasn't really made much difference to not have the crowd noise in there. But I've seen a few comments on Twitter and stuff that people are just missing the crowd quite a bit. I think a lot of the games kind of have a pre-season friendly vibe about them, which I'm kind of in agreement with. We're not, football without fans is nothing. It's a very famous saying, and I think this end to the season is going to be very indicative of that.
Yeah, Dami, what about you? What's your thoughts so far?
Yeah, and I think just kind of echoing what he said as well, in a sense, it's just really great to have football back in our lives, after such a long layoff, So I'm not really, I'm not really too bothered as to, the lack of crowd or whatever. It's just kind of, I don't know, I'm just really happy just to at least have something for everybody kind of to talk about. But yeah, no, it's been good so far. I think it's gone well in terms of kind of what the Bundesliga officials would have hoped for. They haven't had nothing of note to, and so that you could say is a bit worrying. So yeah, so far so good for the Bundesliga.
Yeah, and I think the big story so far, it would be from your game, Dami. It's Dortmund 2-0 up against Schalke, looking pretty good for the win. And, they need to have nearly as much of a perfect run of games to have any chance of overtaking Bayern Munich.
Yeah, exactly. And, they've got the massive game against Bayern next week as well,
Yeah.
So this is a really good, in a sense, you could say warm up for them, kind of, use this game to, get back to the swing of things, get back to the groove, iron out any of those cobwebs that they may have. And then they go again next week. But yeah, it's been a good half from them. I'll say the two players who've kind of caught my eye the most have been Julian Brandt and Achraf Hakimi. Those two players have looked just a bit more kind of clued on in the game than the rest of the players, especially Julian Brandt. He's a wonderful player. Sometimes maybe what's kind of let him down is not being able to do it more on a consistent basis. But in this game he's just looked like his brain is just kind of ticking faster than everybody else. It's like he already knows what he's going to do with the ball before the pass comes to him as well. And I wouldn't say he's controlling the whole game, but very much in that final third, he seems to be the one who just has that kind of that composure and that know-how to know when to pause, when to play it first time, when to take a touch, when to not take a touch and give it a dummy. He's just got that. He's got a nice football brain about him, and it's lovely to see him kind of do his stuff here. While with Hakimi, we've got the kind of the opposite, who probably relies more on his physical attributes than he does. But my word, what physical attributes has he got? He's incredibly quick, powerful as well. He's strong. He's got a great upper body as well, and so athletic as well, and all of that combined with really, really nice technical abilities as well. And, you've got a hell of a player there, to be honest with you. Some could even argue that, he's probably the best young right back in the world. Some may say they think he's better than, what do you call his name? Trent Alexander-Arnold. I may not go that far yet, but he's up there for sure. And like I said before, it will be interesting to see if Real Madrid do call him back. That obviously Danny Carvajal has been at the top of his game for quite a number of years now, but he might, they might just, look at him and think, Hakimi's the future. And after having such a great season, it would be quite stupid of them to then not bring him back in a sense. So yeah, no. It's good. It's good problems for a team like Real Madrid to have. If they could bring Hakimi back and bring Odegaard back as well, have another season of Rodrigo, another season also of Vinicius Junior as well. Another season of Eder Militao as well. Yeah, they've got like a nice, eclectic group of young players that could really usher in the new era for Real Madrid in that sense.
Yeah, and obviously, transfers are not going to be what they are. There's not going to be big money transfers, and I mean, teams will have to kind of really delve deep into their youth stocks as well as looking at the guys that they have got in their squad and thinking, right, we need to have you do a job for us for at least the next few years until football comes back to that high spending level. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, there's no better team in world football in the sense of, youth players and bringing players from the academy than probably Borussia Dortmund. They've got, as the manager, the sporting director, Michael Zorc says, they don't buy superstars, they make them, and we can definitely see a few of them on show today. I think the best compliment I can give the whole Dortmund team for today is the fact that I wouldn't say they've missed Jadon Sancho at all. I don't even think they don't really need to bring him on. I've been watching that. You've not thought, oh wow, they need him. Like they need him to come on and give them something. Like they've controlled the game comfortably. So yeah, no, well played to the whole team, I must say.
Much to the disappointment of Manchester United fans, Jadon Sancho not taking the pitch today. Luke, we touched on it a little bit beforehand, but obviously the other story, if you're looking at the top of the table, is that Leipzig are 1-0 down, and they definitely have the quality to come back from it. But like Dortmund, they need a kind of perfect run of games, don't they? If they want to be winning the Bundesliga this season.
I mean, these are the kinds of games they have to win if they're going to have any hope of doing it, because Freiburg, yeah, they've had a very good season, but Leipzig at home, pressure's on. These are the times where you actually have to produce the form that your team has so much promise of showing. I haven't watched the game. I haven't actually seen Leipzig in months.
Yeah.
So I don't know what kind of form they're in, but they did have a very much an electric start to the season. They have dwindled, and it seems like, well, it kind of seemed like the coronavirus crisis came at a relatively good time for them. But it seems like they just haven't been able to fix their issues over the time they've had off. So, yeah, the massive second half for them if they're going to have any hope of challenging for the title this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, we've got these 5 games, and then we can start having a look at the other team that has impressed many this season. That is Borussia Mönchengladbach, who travel to Eintracht Frankfurt later this evening. I mean, Luke, Gladbach, or at least before the coronavirus pandemic suspended football, they were a very exciting team to watch.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen any of Borussia Mönchengladbach this year. But reputationally, from what I've heard, yeah, they seem to be having a very good season. They've got several decent players in that side. Yeah, likes of Marcus Thuram. I've seen a few clips of him. He seems like a very talented footballer. Slowly breaking his way into the France team, knocking on the door of that on the international scene. For a lot of these Mönchengladbach players, likes of Alassane Player as well, who's been linked with a lot of clubs in Europe. I think he's actually been linked with Arsenal as a kind of replacement for Lacazette / Aubameyang if one or both of those players leaves. These months will be actually quite big for those kinds of players who'll be looking to market themselves for moves to bigger clubs across Europe, because they definitely have the talent. It's just a matter of proving it.
Yeah, and look, this is an exciting weekend for German football, but we see that La Liga and Serie A are also planning their returns. Hopefully in June is what they're targeting. Obviously, the Premier League are a bit slightly behind. They've not been able to kind of establish a date or anything like that as of yet. Yeah, it's a very exciting time for European football right now, and I believe so games are starting to. You guys, let me know. Have the games started the second half yet?
No,
not just yet.
Not yet. Okay, so it's just Wolfsburg have kicked off, but we've not got. We will cover that game. It's just as I said, Wolfsburg lead 1-0, and I think the Leipzig game is just kicked off from what I can see. So should be hopefully a big second half. What do you? I'll come to both of you and ask what are you expecting from the second half. I'll start with Luke. Seemingly it's goalless, so you're hoping for a goal or so. But what are you looking at?
The simple answer would be, well, I'm hoping for a goal. I would expect one is going to happen. Things did really start to open up towards the end. It's just a matter of which side can find that final bit of composure, that final bit of sharpness in the final third, because these players, certainly in the middle of the park, likes of Florian Grillitsch for Hoffenheim, has been absolutely fantastic this half. I think he's probably been the man of the match so far. It's just a matter of, can they translate that sharpness they have had in the sort of the middle third and translate that into the final third, and hopefully we'll start seeing some goals. I'm going to bank on a Hoffenheim win 2-0 to get one of them.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what you've gone for, and I mean, if you look at the table, that's what you probably think as well. Hoffenheim a lot higher, but Hertha Berlin, as we've said a few weeks ago, they spent a lot of money in January. So that should be a very interesting game. So we will check back in with you, Luke, in a bit. And Dami, what are you expecting? Do we think Dortmund are going to take their foot off the gas, shall we say, or do you reckon Schalke will come back? David Wagner will have them up and running and ready to have a big response in the second half?
Well, in these kind of games, especially, as they always say, the next goal is crucial. If Dortmund get the next goal, then I'm tempted to say the game's over. But as we saw, as what happened in the last time these two teams met back in 2017, Schalke were 4-0 down in that game, and they managed to come back 4-4. And I'm sure there's a few of the players who were involved in that game are playing here as well, so they will have fun memories of that. So I don't know. I don't want to say too much, but common sense would tell me that I do expect Dortmund to be able to close this game out quite comfortably, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, Schalke have made two changes, so they've
really?
As I expected. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, well, you've got two extra substitutes to use. Why not? Make the most of it. So yeah, they've brought on Rabbi Matondo and Jog. Yeah, so it'd be nice for us English fans, especially Man City fans, to kind of see, in a sense, maybe why they sold him, or maybe why they were wrong in selling him. And Jean-Claire Todibo, the centre back on loan for Barcelona, I think he picked up an injury. I saw him hobbling around like the midway point of the first half. So yeah, he's come off, and then Bergstall has come in to replace him in defense. I'm surprised. I thought Schalke might have changed the formation and maybe gone to a back four rather than matching up with Dortmund and playing this wing back formation. But no, it seems like they've kind of kept it doing that in that sense. So, no. Sorry, yeah, they have gone back. They have reverted to a back four. Actually, from what I've seen, yeah, they reverted to back four. I think that's the best thing, because the Dortmund were really making a lot of chances down the wings. So it does make sense for them to add more of a more protection down the wings. So yeah, good tactical change, I must say, from David Wagner, because I would have done the same thing as well. So yeah, interesting to see how this kind of pans out, if it gives them the much needed emphasis attacking wise, or will Dortmund just go ahead and score more goals? Oh, and is that? Oh no, it's a foul. But no, the rest played on. Oh, Hazard strike. Oh yeah, that's it. It's a goal. 3-0. That's got to be it now. That's got to be it. It's Torgan Hazard with the goal, and it comes from that man yet again. It's Julian Brandt with his second assist of the game.
Wow.
And again, just like I said, Dortmund's transition play has been amazing in this game. I think all three goals they scored have all come from instantly breaking, because here, as you can see, the goal starts from Schalke. They're attacking. They're trying to play nice, intricate football on the edge of Dortmund's box. The Dortmund get the ball, and as soon as they get the ball, bang! It's like the players, as soon as they get that ball back, it's like something just switches in all of their brain, and they just think, bang, let's attack. And soon they win the ball back. You've got the man himself, Haaland. He's running at the defense. He takes a bit of a heavy first touch, but he just managed to toe poke it past the incoming defender. The ball finds its way to Julian Brandt. He's running at the last defender, and as he's running, he's just he's holding, he's waiting, and down the right hand side comes Torgan Hazard making that run in. So Brandt does what you'd expect, plays the ball in, nice weighted pass, so good to the front point that Hazard doesn't even have to take a touch. He's just run onto it, and he's just kind of struck it really hard and firm into the goal. I mean, to be looking at it again, I would say it's probably another mistake from the goalkeeper. You know, I
Okay.
would expect my goalie to at least get something on that. I mean, he gets a hand to it, but it's not strong enough. And the strike was powerful, but it wasn't right in the corner as well. So yeah, I can imagine the goalie probably would be disappointed in himself. But yes, less than 5 minutes gone, it's 3-0 to Dortmund, and I'm afraid to say I think that might be game, set, and match over here. So the floodgates might really just start to open up here
Yeah.
for Dortmund.
I mean, look, we talked about substitutes, and clearly David Wagner's now got a lot more to work on, a lot more on his plate than he had hoped that the substitutes would do. And yeah, would you say this is a bit of a statement win for Dortmund? It's a bit of a statement to say,
Yes,
we're,
for sure.
you know,
I think so. Absolutely. Like I said, oh, where's Rotundo? Oh, he's done really well. Oh, the first glimpse we get of Rabbi Sorry, I'll come back to you, but first glimpse we get of Rabbi Matondo, he gets the ball. He's gone down the right wing and 1-on-1 with Matt Hummels. We know he's got more. He's clearly faster than Hummels, and he shows it there. Just accelerates past them. He's just managed to pull it back, but there's no one there on the edge of the box to tap it into an empty net. But sorry, yeah, as you were saying, yes, I do believe it will be a statement for Dortmund, especially if they can, get something like 5 goals or more
yeah,
in this game. Like I said, the whole world is more or less watching them. And I mean, I saw even what do you call his name? Mbappe made a tweet saying, "Oh, the Bundesliga is back." Hashtag Schalke versus Dortmund as well. So even he's watching as well in that sense. But yes, if they can, rack it up, get 5 or 6. I'm already even seeing people say, wow, Schalke are terrible, Schalke are this, they're bad. I mean, to be fair, they've not really played that bad, but Dortmund have, they've played well. They've been very professional in that sense. So yeah, if they can, like I said, get something like 5 or more goals in this game, definitely you start to look at them in a bit of a different light. Like I said, would be a great kind of a dress rehearsal for them for the big game next week for the Classica against Bayern.
yeah, and it's interesting. Mbappe is watching because obviously we all know about the PSG Dortmund shenanigans that took place
Yeah,
before football went on break. But as you said, 3-0. That's a big win. Well, I know we've got 40 minutes to go, but it is a big performance from Dortmund so far. And we'll come back to you. Hopefully everything. Well, do we want it to settle down? Because I feel like this is the most entertaining game, definitely, of the
no,
weekend.
yeah, for sure. I mean, more goals to come in. I presume.
My favorite tweet so far is someone tweeted that Schalke are really good at observing the social distancing, the 2-meter rule from which I mean that is saying something for sure. Right, we'll come back to you, Dami, in a sec. So wow, 3-0 Dortmund lead at home to Schalke, and we do have a goal in another game, and that is Augsburg. So Augsburg have equalized against Wolfsburg. So that is 1-1. It is Tin Jadvaj has scored for Augsburg. I've no idea how he scored so far, but there's 1-1. So there we go. A game that Wolfsburg would have hoped that they were on their way to another win, but no, it's going to be an interesting second half in that game. So 1-1 Augsburg Wolfsburg. Düsseldorf Paderborn is still goalless. Hoffenheim Hertha Berlin. We'll talk to Luke Edwards in a sec, but as I know for now that's goalless. And what is it? Yes, Dortmund 3-0 up against Schalke, and Leipzig 1 goal down against Freiburg. So Luke Edwards we will bring in to talk to right now. We'll take
Hello.
Hello. So how have both teams kind of approached the second half?
Exactly the same as the first half, apart from a little bit more cagey. Nothing's happening, to be honest. It's the classic, I've waited 2 months for football and I get a 0-0 so far. I say this has been attacking down the right, but nothing's really coming through the Hoffenheim midfield. Both teams very solid in midfield, looking for outlets in wide areas. Dodi Lukaku's managed to get himself on the ball a couple of times for Hertha Berlin, but to no avail. yeah, it's just been an incredibly cagey second half. I want to see some substitutions at some point. As I said, I'd quite like to see Robertson come on for Hertha Berlin. I'd like to see Piontek come on. I say this as oh my word, that is one of the worst misses I've seen in a very long time. At least 2 months.
Talk us through it.
Just who it is. So ball comes in. So Rudy picks up the ball on the edge of the penalty area for Hoffenheim. He just plays the ball through to, I believe, I'm just going to have to get his name right very quickly. So he plays the ball through to, I think it's Zuber, and Zuber goes for like a outside of the foot shot, and it just goes wide of the goal. He had the whole goal to aim at, absolutely no pressure on him really from any of the Hertha Berlin defenders. All the time he just fires it wide. He should be at least testing the goalkeeper at this point, but no, just fires it wide. Big chance gone and missed for Hoffenheim. And just, I said earlier about the lack of sharpness in the final third, that final pass, that final shot, just that little bit missing, and it was completely evident there. But fair play to Sebastian Rudy, him and Grealish in the midfield for Hoffenheim have been absolutely exceptional this game. I'm looking forward to seeing how they get on in the second half.
Yeah, and especially Liverpool fans will be keeping an eye on Grealich's performance and seeing is he going to be a future player for them down the line or not? We shall see. But yeah, so Hoffenheim go close there. A goal that they should have.
It was actually Bayer, not Zuber, who got the shot away. Substitute who came on for Bebu. Sorry, my prediction of Bebu scoring in the second half has just gone completely awry. But we move.
Yeah. So both teams. So a bit of. Do you think is there a bit of added intensity to the second half, or is it? I know you said it's pretty much the game's gone as it did it in the first half, but do you see a bit of an urgency there to kind of?
Yeah, you say that like as soon as you came to me, the game has completely livened up. Vedat Ibišević has just gone through on goal, but it's another fantastic save from Oliver Baumann. He has really impressed me in this game. Absolutely top class goalkeeper, played in the Bundesliga for many years, and you can see why he's a top shot stopper, and he's proven it time again. My stream is actually frozen. I say this is the ball spot. It's coming for a corner for Hertha Berlin. It comes to the back post. Kunin meets it with a header, and my stream freezes. And it's going to go up for another corner. So, it kind of sums up this half. We just haven't had that clinical edge at all in the final third. I'm just hoping that one of the teams finds it soon, because I'd really like to see a goal in this game.
Absolutely, as would Hoffenheim fans, Hertha Berlin fans, and indeed all of us watching the game around the world. Thanks, Luke. We'll come back to you in just a bit. So we've had 2 goals so far in the games that are going on right now. As we mentioned earlier, Dortmund on a statement performance, 3-0 up at home to Schalke. Leipzig are still 1-0 down at home to Freiburg. Hoffenheim, Hertha Berlin, as we said just now, it's still goalless, although Hoffenheim look the more likely to score there. The game, and let's go and let's talk to. We got Dusseldorf and Paderborn is still goalless, and Wolfsburg is 1-1. So, Luke, we've come back to you. You talked about Hoffenheim being the more likely to score, but Hertha Berlin, have they initiated any attack on their own? How's that going?
Yeah, as I said, Ibišević just went close, and Plattenhart's about to throw the ball into the penalty area with a long throw. It bounces around on the edge of the penalty area. Hoffenheim looking to get it clear, but Boyata picks the ball back up. Hertha managing to keep on the pressure. The ball comes back out to Plattenhart on the left. Looks like it's just Missile starts just picked up the ball. Nothing's really going on in this game as it's last game to me, Josh. It's just looks like another long throw is about to come in. It takes it short. Cross. It looks like he might be able to get a cross in. He doesn't. Ball comes back out to Plattenhardt yet again. Is he going to go for a cross this time? He does, whips the ball in, and it's almost met by the striker Luca Bacchio, but the ball's managed to come back out again to Pekaric. It's just going ping pong all around the Hoffenheim penalty area at the minute. Plattenhardt picks up the ball on the left, it's deflected, and it's cleared, and it's deflected in, and it looks like it might have been an own goal. So the first goal I've seen in 2 months is an own goal, massive deflection coming in from Hoffenheim, but Hertha Berlin have scored and gone 1-0 up. think it was a shock from Peter Pekarik, the veteran right back from Slovakia, but it took a massive deflection, took the ball in, and I think it came off. I just get his name right. It was from Toruna Riga, who's a guy who I couldn't name something like that to save my life. But it's a very clean shot from Pekarik. It's definitely going wide. Toruna Riga just sticks out a leg, deflects it well beyond Baumann. Baumann absolutely no chance. And a bit lucky for Hertha Berlin, but my God, do they need it if they're going to make sure that they're going to stay out this year. So it's a big goal for them in their season, and I'm sure Bruno Labbadia in the dugout will be absolutely delighted.
Yeah, so there's some action in your game at last. 1-0 Hertha Berlin. Do they deserve this lead, do you reckon?
Probably not, to be honest. I think Hoffenheim have marginally been the better team. They've had the better chances. But Hertha, that being said, Hertha have created some chances. That was the first bit of sustained pressure from either team in this game. So, yeah, probably on balance, given that it was a actually well orchestrated attack from Hertha Berlin with a bit of luck. I think they definitely deserved a goal. I just think that I would expect Hoffenheim to respond effectively and try and get themselves back into the game as soon as they can.
Yeah, for sure. And look, we'll just, hopefully that I'll just look at the table and see Hertha Berlin. That puts them up into 11th spot.
Oh, we've had another goal.
Oh, there we go. Is it
Vedar Ibišević?
So it's 2-0.
He's a former striker of Hoffenheim. I'm just
I do believe,
but comes in Plattenhardt on the left. Yeah, he's complete Hoffenheim legend player for 5 years, 48 goals. The ball comes in, I think, from Plattenhardt on the left. He's whipped it in, and Ibišević just meets it with a meaty header and slams it well beyond Baumann, and it's 2-0. My predictions on this game have been completely awry, but it's it's an absolutely fantastic bit of play. The ball doesn't come in from Plattenhardt; it's actually from Mittelstadt, I believe. It's a really well orchestrated goal, and Ibišević completely unmarked in the middle, absolutely smacks it with his head beyond Baumann. No chance for the goalkeeper. Hertha 2-0. They're looking at a very good spot. It looked incredibly cagey 5 minutes ago. Now, Hertha bam go and take the 2-0 lead.
Wow, so there we go. Hertha Berlin, double 2 minutes, literally, I think. Was it in 2 goals in the space of 2 or 3 minutes, and suddenly they're 2-0 up. Thanks for that, Luke. We'll come back to you in a sec. Let's check in with Tammy at Dortmund Schalke. How's that? Is there any fight in Schalke, or has it been all Dortmund?
No, there's a bit of fight in Schalke. They're trying to string a few passes together. Matondo has definitely made a slight impact on the game from them. Oh wait, hold up, here comes Guerrero. Dortmund on the attack again. Oh, Guerrero, is he offside? Is he offside? Oh, I'm not sure. Oh no, it's offside. Okay, no, I think the ref has he played for offside? I'm not quite. Hold up.
Talk us through it. So what's happened?
All right, so the ball comes to Guerrero. He's marauding down the. Oh, it's been given. Oh, it's been given.
Goal.
It's a goal. Yeah, it's a goal. It's been given. Damn, it's 4-0. So Hülkenberg gets the ball. He sprays it out wide to Guerrero. He gets the ball. He's driving down the left hand. Yeah, he's clearly onside. Yeah, he's clearly onside. No, Guerrero gets the ball. He's driving down the left-hand side. He drives infield, plays the ball to Haaland. Haaland gets the ball. Lovely 1-2. Plays it back into Guerrero, who is onside. And the last defender tries to step up, but he steps up way too late. Yeah, Haaland returns the favor back to Guerrero. And that pass goes past like 2 or 3 Schalke defender. And Guerrero controls it, and with the outside of his left foot, just kind of whips it into the top corner. And it's 4-0. And
my goodness,
that's game over now. I think that's the game is done and dusted now. And it's been a really, really, really very much a professional performance from Dortmund. That's what I call it. I wouldn't say they've done anything out of this world, but they've done the basics very well. And Schalke have not been able to live up to it. So yes, it's been a great, really good performance from Dortmund. 4-0 up, half an hour to go. Definitely more goals in this for them.
And we talked about Achraf Hakimi at halftime, but on the other flank, Rafa Guerrero has now got 2 goals. How impressed have you been by his performance, or has it just been that he's been there, right place, right time?
No, he's played well. To be fair, I think he's done what would expect him to do. I think with Guerrero, he's shown he can play like this as well. But it seems like I mean, I feel like when I see him play, I still always expect more. In this, I feel like he can even give more than he usually gives. Don't get me wrong, he's an incredibly talented player. Like definitely up there in terms of like one of the best left backs in the world. But I when I remember when he first burst onto the scene, I saw him as honestly like someone who could easily like go and replace like Marcelo at Real Madrid or possibly even like Jordi Alba at Barcelona. But he's now like I think what 26, 27, something like that. So he's not too late, but you'd have hoped by now, considering the talent that he had, he would have been at one of Europe's super clubs. But all that being said, he's played well today. To be fair, he's not showed any kind of lack of stamina. I must say. I mean, some of the runs he's making. I mean, at times when he's running, you can see him, he's literally just running past players like 2, 3 other players who are jogging, trying to catch up to him, but they can't because he's just, when he runs, you can tell he runs with desire and passion. Like, okay, oh, here's Hakimi, he's coming down, plays into Guerrero again. Okay, Guerrero, is he going to cross it? Plays it in. Haaland? No, it's been cleared. Sorry. As we were just talking about Guerrero, he gets the ball in a good space down the left-hand side, just clips it in, but Haaland somehow, with all his 6 foot plus of himself, isn't able to get his head onto it this time. But yeah, like I was saying, no, he's shown really good desire and determination when running. So yes, I'll say his running skills have definitely helped this game and helped his performance.
Yeah, and we talked about John Joe Kenny on the other side, Schalke's right wing back, now right back. Has he? I mean, Guerrero is kind of his direct opponent. So has he been at fault for any of these goals, or is it just kind of the quality of Dortmund's just been too much to handle?
Yeah, I would say the quality, and also he has lacked a bit of support and a bit of help as well from the rest of his teammates. I mean, there's only so much he can do himself, and a lot of the times, Dortmund they're very good at overloading down the side. So it's not just Hakimi or Guerrero that he's having to face one-on-one. A lot of the times it's usually Torgan Hazard comes up and joins them, or Julian Brandt comes and joins them, or even at times Haaland just drifts off to the side and sometimes makes it a 2 versus 1 or 3v2 as well. So yeah, it's not. I wouldn't say any of the goals has been his fault directly. It's been more a lack of it's been a team fault, I would say. A lack of a collective effort that's cost Schalke for them to be 3-0 down.
Yeah, and even 4-0 now.
Sorry, yes, 4-0.
Yeah, there's a lot of goals going on. And we will check back with you, Damien, in a second. Maybe. Who knows how many goals Dortmund are going to go on to score here. We do have a goal in another game, and it is the Augsburg-Wolfsburg game that has also come to life. It is a goal from Felix. Oh no, wait, hang on. Bear with me. I think it's been disallowed. I think the goal has been disallowed. So we had Felix, and I'm going to pronounce his last name horrendously. Felix Udokai, I think that's how you pronounce his name. We thought he had scored for Augsburg and make it 2-1 and overturn the 1-0 deficit that was in the first half. But I believe that's been given a VAR have disallowed it. Yeah, the VAR have disallowed the goal for an offside infringement. So it remains 1-1. I'm going to take that off because that no longer exists. It remains 1-1 between Augsburg and Wolfsburg so far. So we'll run through the scores very briefly, and you can see some of them. I've had to make it 2 beds because now we've just got a lot of goals going on. Dortmund 4-0 up against Schalke, probably the statement performance so far, and the big takeaway from the 5 games so far. Leipzig still a goal behind at Freiburg. Ademola Lookman apparently had missed a big chance over there. The former Everton player, or was he Everton loanee? No, he's Everton loanee. So again, Leipzig struggling to get past Freiburg with about 20 minutes to go. Fortuna Dusseldorf and Paderborn, that game is still goalless. Maybe that's a very much a kind of 2 teams in the relegation zone trying to not lose essentially, and maybe that's maybe that's what's come up from there. And then, as we said, Wolfsburg, it remains 1-1. Felix Udokai's goal was disallowed for an offside by Felix Breisch, referee Felix Breisch. So it was overturned by VAR. That is 1-1, and will bring Luke Edwards in after a goal-laden couple minutes. But it's 2-0 Hertha Berlin. Any signs of a response from Hoffenheim, or have Hertha really got momentum at the moment?
They're pushing. Hoffenheim are definitely pushing for it. They're committing more bodies forward than they would otherwise. They're trying to put a lot of pressure on the Hertha backline, which kind of sunk back in a little bit. They seem to have dropped to more of a back five, which is kind of understandable given the circumstances. But yeah, I mean, what Hoffenheim have to be really careful of is situations like this where Hertha are now on the counter attack. Ibashevich plays the ball out wide. Ball comes across goal, and that's easy for Baumann to collect. But the issue that Hoffenheim have is the more they try and commit players forward to try and get a goal, put pressure on Hertha Berlin, the more easy it is for Hertha Berlin to hit them on the counter attack, particularly with the players they have. You know, looking at the likes of Dodo Lukebakio, Matej Cunha has been getting himself into some very good positions this game. Vidas Ibashevich is always dangerous in the box. This could very easily go to 3-0 if Hoffenheim aren't careful, but they seem to be retaining a little bit of control right now. They're not overworking things. They're not trying to force something that isn't really there. I say this is Robert Skov's about to put the penalty area. It's collected easily by the goalkeeper, Jarstein, in goal for Hertha Berlin. But Hoffenheim are putting on the pressure. The next goal really is going to make the difference on the outcome of this match, I think, Josh. If Hertha Berlin get it, it's like the situation we saw last time in the Dortmund game. I think if Hertha get the goal, then that game's done. But if Hoffenheim can claw one back, I think this will struggle quite a bit to hold on for the rest of the game. But for the time being, they're going to try and hit Hoffenheim on counter attack and hope that they can grab a third and just consolidate the victory.
Yeah, I've heard, and I can't remember who I can attribute this quote to, but I believe someone did say that 2-0 is the most dangerous scoreline, one of the most dangerous scorelines to have in a football game, and certainly, you know, as you said, the next goal will really make a difference. Have you seen the substitutions that you thought you'd see, or have we still no Christoph Piontek yet?
Yeah, so Hoffenheim have made the substitutions that I was actually going to call for myself. So they brought on Jacob Brun-Larsen, January transfer signing from Borussia Dortmund. He was brought in, a Danish winger, very tricky, good on the ball, the kind of player who can kind of create something, which is something that Hoffenheim have been lacking in this game, is just a final bit of creativity. So hopefully he can provide that. They've also brought on a guy called, and once this loads, I've got one get his first name right, Dennis Geiger. They brought him on in central midfield, taking off Sebastian Rudy. I suspect Rudy at his age is probably a little bit leggy at this stage. He did seem to start to slow down as the match went on. A lot of the running was being done by Florian Grillitsch, who's had a fantastic game. But yeah, some fresh legs in midfield, bit more creativity in the front line. Maybe that's exactly what Hoffenheim need. They're going to have to hope it is.
Yeah, and you know, if the result stays as it is, Hertha jumped to 11th, overtaking their city rivals Union Berlin, and I think those two teams play each other on Friday night, next Friday night at least. So that'll be a huge Berlin derby. But yeah, with Hertha, you know, if they get this win, then they definitely put themselves a clear distance away from the relegation zone, and with the new ownership, definitely it will look a lot promising, their prospects for next season.
Yeah, and the things they've had, you know, dare I say it, Hertha have actually played really well in this game. Certainly, you know, they had 5 minutes, but the way they've handled going 2-0 up so far has been exceptional. And I think that is the kind of maturity that you would expect from a side, A, with the quality that they have, but B, from a side that is going to be looking to have European aspirations in the future. This season, for now, you know, if they win this game, they're pretty much free from relegation, from the threat of relegation, rather. At that point, it will be very much about, look, they've got these new players that they've all brought in January. It's now about bedding them in and trying to go again next season with a bit more investment and hoping that they can go and challenge for the European spots. Because looking at the talent in their team, they've got all the qualities, all the equipment that they'll need to go and produce some, or even become one of the top Bundesliga sides with the investment they've got.
Yeah, and yeah, for sure. And I was going to say, I can't remember. I've just lost my train of thought there. No, I don't have it. I don't have it as of now, which is annoying. So Hertha 2-0 up. Hoffenheim got a bit of work to do, and we've seen team come back from 2-0 down and make a comeback at least. But Hertha very much in control, you'd say.
Yeah, completely. I don't see any. Yeah, I don't see any real chance of Hoffenheim. They haven't created any clear opportunities. I think that's the key difference. I think that's why they brought on Brun Larsen. This is actually Hertha Berlin coming into the penalty area now. It was Plattenhardt, and he's absolutely spanked it into the top right corner. It's a really good goal. It's not Plattenhardt at all. It's actually Matej Cunha, who has had a very good game in this game. He just picks up the ball in the edge of the penalty on the left-hand side, cuts in, just absolutely rinses the Hoffenheim. I can't remember who it is. But he rinses him is the point, and he just goes through into goal, smashes it past Oliver Baumann. Oh, it's an absolutely fantastic goal. Go and watch this if you can. Yeah, so he keeps two players. He takes the ball past the centre back and just smashes it along past Oliver Baumann in the net. Yeah, so the defender who beat rather was Akpoguma, the guy who scored the own goal for Hoffenheim. So he hasn't had the best game, and it really looks now like they're going to take the 3-0 victory, or at least take a victory, and press on and try and finish the season as strongly as they possibly can.
So that's Hertha 3-0 up now, and I mean looking very much the clear winner in this game, and that we talk about obviously Bruno Labbadia literally came in during this pandemic, had a few days or so to kind of get cram in a mini preseason, if you like, and it's clearly his appointment, and maybe it's a new result, a new bounce, managerial bounce, but he's clearly getting the results that he was hired for.
Yeah, definitely. It seems like I think the key difference actually in this Hertha side, I don't know if this is the new manager bounce, as you say, or if it's like a genuine thing that he's implemented, but they do seem a lot sharper than Hoffenheim. Hoffenheim have been sluggish all day, with the exception of Grilic in the midfield. I haven't been impressed with many of their players at all. There's actually just a chance through there on goal. I think it was Baumgartner managed to get shot away, but was it Baumgartner, or it could have been? Hold on, I'm gonna have to get my player names up. I need to learn these. It was Mittelstadt, I believe. No, he's the one who plays for Hertha Berlin. It was Baumgartner. I should just stick with my gut. Fires it. It was really well saved by Justin and goal for Hertha Berlin. But he's taken a shot to the nads, and he's going to be taking a little bit of a breather. But it looked like it probably, even if the ball had gone in, it looked like it wouldn't have counted anyway, because Baumgartner clearly handballs it in the build up to his goal. He uses his hands to follow the ball. But yeah, Hoffenheim, they need a goal pretty much now if they're going to have any chance of salvaging something out of this game, short of their own pride. But it really looks like with the threat they've got ahead on the counter-attack today, that they're just going to go and take the victory. It's been a really impressive performance from them in this second half.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And we have a goal in another game, and it's Leipzig who have got the equalizer that they needed. And yeah, we'll check back with you, Luke, in just a bit. But yeah, as I said, Leipzig 1-1. Yusuf Poulsen nods in a goal from a Kevin Campbell cross and gets Leipzig the goal they needed to stay in the title race for sure. I'm just gonna update our ticker. But yes, Leipzig are back in it with a chance of now maybe even going on to break Freiburg hearts and get a win that they desperately need to stay in touch with the likes of Dortmund, who are proving today to have a lot of quality in their squad. So yeah, let's do a brief score check across the 5 Bundesliga games that we've got. So Dortmund 4-0 up against Schalke. The story of today, probably of today's action at least, just looking utterly dominant. Leipzig, as we just said, they've drawn level against Freiburg. Yusuf Poulsen's header cancelling out Manuel Gold's back heel from the first half. Hertha Berlin, as we talked with Luke Edwards, they are 3-0 up away at Hoffenheim. Matthias Cunha adding a third for the capital club. Dusseldorf as Paderborn still goalless between those two teams, both battling relegation, and you'd think that they need to get a winner somehow in this game. And finally, Wolfsburg, that is 1-1, a disallowed goal for Felix Udohak. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Like Luke Edwards, I'm going to have a lot of trouble with pronouncing these German names as the weekends go on. But he had a goal disallowed by VAR, and so therefore it remains 1-1 between those two sides. So last 10 minutes or so in with these 5 Bundesliga games, we will run through because we've got time now. We've not got a show coming on after us. We've got time to go through the Gladbach Frankfurt lineups at the end of the 90 minutes for these 5 games, which we will quickly do, and a bit of a brief summary. We'll have Dami and Luke back on as the panel and briefly kind of run through the action at the end of the 90 minutes. You know what? Let's go to Dami and talk about Dortmund Schalke. Is he there? Yes, he is. We will bring him in. Hello, Dami. So,
how you doing?
has there been much to note of? Has there been much happening since the Raf Guerrero goal, or has it been very much kind of Dortmund are now well and truly taking their foot off the gas and they're kind of playing out the result?
Yeah, Dortmund have, just like what you said, they're definitely just kind of closing the game out. I think I can imagine what's on their mind right now is making sure they keep a clean sheet as well. I can imagine that'll be very important for the defenders and the managers as well. So yeah, no, it's just been they've controlled it well. They haven't really given Schalke much of a sniff in, and I don't think Schalke will be repeating their 2017 heroics of coming back from 4-0 down, to draw 4-4. But hey, if there's one sport you can never say never in, it's football. But I very much highly doubt anything dramatic like that is gonna happen in the next 10 minutes. So yes, no, like I said, just Dortmund just playing the game out, just doing the necessary that's required, and yeah, hopefully I can imagine they'll probably just want to keep a clean sheet and make sure no of their key players get any possible unnecessary either like yellows, reds, or even injuries at this moment in time. So yeah, still 4-0. So Dortmund and 10 minutes still to play.
Have we had any substitutions? Anyone come on for either side that we know of? Has for example, Jadon Sancho made an appearance off the bench?
No Jadon Sancho today. I think Dortmund made a substitution and they brought on they haven't made a substitution. Actually, they've kept it the same. Obviously Schalke made the 2 early substitutions in the start of the second half, but there's nothing they've not really done that much, or at least anything to show for it on the scoreline anyway. So no, it'll be interesting. I mean, I'm surprised Dortmund haven't made a change, especially now they're leading 4-0. They can rest the likes of Haaland and Brandt and Hazard as well.
Yeah.
But perhaps maybe the manager sees this as a way to possibly boost more of their match fitness as well. Because it's one thing having just regular fitness, but their match fitness is a completely different thing as well. So he just probably wants them to get as much minutes as they can, probably under their belts, and so in preparation for next week's the Classica.
Yeah. And what have you made of, talking about the other team in this game, what have you made of Schalke's performance? And do you think, obviously they are, I believe, as we look at the updated table, they're in 7th, 8th. They're in 8th spot at the moment. They were obviously 6th before this game. What have you made of their performance? And yeah, what do you think they have a lot of work to do before the next game as a result of this fixture, or is it just Dortmund's quality's been just too good for them?
Dortmund definitely have shown high quality at points in the game, hence why they're winning 4-0. But definitely Schalke, they've also let themselves down. At least 2 of the goals you could probably say are down to the goalkeeper. so it doesn't always help when you've got individual errors like that as well. But yeah, overall, I still think Schalke will be disappointed with the performance. Oh, and so as you were talking, the Dortmund players are literally just passing the ball around with them next to each other, with no kind of Schalke player coming to close them down. Kind of showing you. You could say how deflated the Schalke players are. To be honest, they're just doing keep ball right now. But yeah, no, they've definitely not really done themselves justice, I would say, in this game.
Yep.
Yeah, they could have played a lot better. But I mean, I guess it's easier said than done when you're coming back from 2-month lengthy layoff, and then the first game you get to play is such a really good side like Dortmund as well. So you don't want to be, I guess, too critical of them, because I can imagine they're probably not they're not the first, and they won't be the last team to lose 4-0 to Dortmund as well. But I still think regardless, they would have, the fans would be a little bit disappointed in the performance of the team. I'm sure they've probably seen them play better on numerous occasions than they have today throughout the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And we will come back to you. I don't think you and I expect a lot to happen in these last few stages. But we will come back to you maybe at full time. We'll see how things go. Yeah, so it looks like we have 2 comfortable wins. For those who are just tuning in, we have 2 comfortable wins for Dortmund and for Hertha Berlin. Teams we're covering look to have the most clinical teams at the moment. Leipzig, Freiburg, and the Augsburg-Wolfsburg game, we could still see a late winner, as we could in the Dusseldorf-Paderborn game that has remained goalless so far. And if we look at the table and how these results impact the table, Wolfsburg will jump to 6th, and Wolfsburg and Freiburg will climb level with Schalke, and actually will jump them on goal difference. Yep, on goal difference. So not a great day for Schalke for sure. And Hertha, that win will jump them over city rivals Union Berlin, as we said. Frankfurt obviously yet to play, but they have jumped down as of right now. So we're coming up to the dying stages of the 5 games that we've got, and it's fitting that we've picked the 2 games that look pretty much decided. So there won't be any late drama from the 2 games that we've got. But we've got the 2 games that have produced the most amount of goals. And let's come to Luke Edwards just for a brief update. Obviously the results pretty much settled, but Luke, have you seen the elusive Christoph Piontek? Have we had an appearance from him so far?
Yes, he is playing. He's been brought on. He was brought on 10 minutes ago just to give a rest to Mateusz Cunha. Hertha Berlin will be absolutely buzzing with the result they've put in, or the effort they put in today and the result they've got out of it. They've been absolutely superb, from particularly the second half. First half, they let in too many chances. We're giving too much of the ball to Hoffenheim. In many ways, there's a lot of phases of showing too much respect to your opponent. I think in a way they kind of were, because they've shown in this second half that they are substantially better. They're about to run through on goal now. It's actually headed clear by one of the Hoffenheim defenders. Hertha has just been absolutely eviscerating Hoffenheim in the second half. But there's a couple of turning points you'd have to look back on this game and look at. So we look at Bayer's opportunity earlier in the second half for Hoffenheim. If he puts that in the back of the net, you're thinking maybe this is going to be a different game. But from the moment the goal went in, the moment Hertha had that bit of luck with the Pekarik shot, it was only really going to be one winner. An absolutely well-deserved victory from them, and they will be absolutely buzzing and ready to go and play for the rest of the season. And I hope they can fire themselves as far up the table as possible and start to put some fear in the opposition ahead of next year.
Yeah, and a great start for Bruno. Is it Labatia? Sabia?
Labatia. Yep.
Labatia, yeah, a great start for him to his managerial spell at Hertha Berlin, no doubt. Well, and you talked about an impressive performance for Hertha Berlin, or at least the second half performance has been a pretty impressive one.
For sure.
What have you seen from Hoffenheim? What would you take away from their performance? across these 89, 90 minutes or so?
I think Hoffenheim, there are positives to take. I think certainly the performance, I think Baumgartner on their side has had a very good game. He's got himself into some very good positions, just hasn't really had the finishing touch. I think that's kind of the positive. They have had spells in the game where they've looked very sharp. They've been able to sustain the pressure on Hertha Berlin. I just think the difference is, I think they can just put this down to a lack of match fitness in a way. I know it's the same for both teams, but Hertha seems to have come in at 100 miles an hour, particularly in the second half, and they've really clicked themselves into gear. Whereas Hoffenheim obviously just need a couple more weeks. What will be quite hurtful, I think, in the context of this match for Hoffenheim is particularly if Freiburg end up dropping points against Leipzig, if that game finishes 1-1 like it currently is, then this would have been a really good opportunity to go and sling themselves towards the European places where they would have been aspiring to be at the start of the season. Losses like this at home against a side who, let's face it, have been massively overwhelming this season. Yes, they got a new manager. Yes, they're on a bit of a buzz right now, but this is the kind of game that Hoffenheim should really be looking at as a potentially winnable fixture, and they haven't seemed to have been the performance relevant. I say that as Oliver Baumann nearly gives the ball away to pressure from one of the strikers. I believe it would have been should have been Ngankam, the substitute for Hertha, nearly pressures Baumann into giving away a ball on his own goal line, pretty much. But yeah, back to your point, Josh. I think Hoffenheim can afford to just kind of write this game off. They will be very much in holiday mode for the rest of the season, just trying to get the games played, get the TV revenue, and then go again next year, because I don't see them finishing top 6 with these kind of performances they're putting in.
Yeah, and actually, we've got a late goal in the Augsburg-Wolfsburg game, which Wolfsburg obviously in direct competition with Hoffenheim for that kind of upper tier spots, not quite in the top 4, but definitely up there. Wolfsburg have scored, and it is Daniel Ginczek who has made it 2-1 for Wolfsburg in stoppage time. We mentioned, about Hoffenheim. It's a bad day for them if Wolfsburg can put some distance between themselves and Hoffenheim. And yeah, it's a 2-1 to Wolfsburg, and that is going to be a very good result for them indeed. Luke, we'll come back to you at the final whistle, which should be pretty soon. So Daniel Ginczek has scored for Wolfsburg and has made it 2-1 against Augsburg. And I'm trying to just get his spelling of his name right, which I think I have now. So 2-1 to Wolfsburg. And that's a big result for them, who they jump up to 6. So they are now they are now the best of the rest if you take away the top 5. And yeah, they're level with Freiburg, and we shall see how that game, if Augsburg can launch one more comeback. And indeed, we have another late goal, and it is a hugely costly goal for Leipzig as they go back 1-0 down. They go 2-1 down, and it is Robin Koch who scores for Freiburg at the very end. That could be costly for them in their bid to kind of keep in touch with Dortmund and Bayern. So that is a huge goal there. Oh, and it's been disallowed. The joys of doing a live stream. It's been disallowed. So Leipzig maybe they get away with one. I personally have not seen the goal as I'm doing this right now, but we'll take that down. Now, there's a disallowed goal and maybe something controversial to talk about there, but the games are kind of coming to an end. I believe we have had the full-time whistle at Dusseldorf, and Paderborn remained goalless. A result I don't think either team would have wanted, considering they're both in the bottom 3. And also, let's have a look at Wolfsburg held on for that 2-1 win over Augsburg. That is a big result that they needed. To stay kind of best of the rest with the top 5. And of course, Dortmund comfortable 4-0 win over Schalke. The derby that we all hyped up and we thought there'd be a bit of a tense game ended up being quite one-sided. And yes, as I'm looking around, I think Leipzig-Freiburg, it will probably end up in a draw, and obviously Hertha will end up 3-0 winners at the moment. Let's come to Dami as that game's kind of ended. That's the Dortmund Schalke game has ended. A pretty comfortable win, but from Dortmund as it turned out.
Yeah, you could say routine win for Dortmund, to be honest. 4-0 win. Doesn't flatter them at all. Could have easily maybe even scored 5 or 6, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
they were controlling the game from start, you could say, to finish as well. And yeah, they definitely they were more than deserving of this 4-0 win. Great performances all around from them. Mainly pick out Julian Brandt, Hakimi, and Guerrero as well. I mean, yeah, he scored 2 goals, so I'll pick him out as well. Those three definitely, mainly they terrorized the Schalke defense. They didn't really know how to handle them all throughout the whole game.
Yeah, and you look at the Leipzig result, which has ended 1-1, Leipzig against Freiburg. That is
massive.
It's a big win. It's a big win for Dortmund, considering now that Leipzig weren't able to capitalize, and now I'm looking at the table. They fall 3 points behind themselves. So it's a significant result that Leipzig were not able to take that win. I know you haven't seen the game, but yeah, it does feel like a missed opportunity for them.
Yeah, sadly, for them. But I think, who knows? It's interesting to see how, I guess, this will affect how kind of Dortmund and Bayern go into the game next week. I don't know if they'll maybe if they'll be more freer when playing it now, knowing that it's just between both of them, or would they be more cagey? It'll be interesting. But yeah, definitely a shock result there from Leipzig. I think I was told something about VAR and offside or disallowed goal happened in that game.
Yeah, there was a disallowed goal for Freiburg. Yeah, they nearly lost.
Oh wow, they nearly lost.
Nearly
Wow.
lost.
It could have even been worse. Damn.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, let's bring in Luke Edwards, as I think all the games have pretty much come to a close. Luke, from your end, a pretty dominant win for Hertha, and a really good result for them, and something that they can definitely build on.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Hertha have been in a bit of a rut this season. They haven't really been able to click into any sort of form. They got the new manager, Bruno Labbadia, and they put in a very good performance today. Very impressed with several of their players. I'm going to have to give special mention out. Was repeatedly a nuisance to Hoffenheim, who just weren't really at the races today. Looked very rusty, picked up a couple of injuries, which really isn't ideal for them. And yeah, it was just a pretty poor performance overall from Hoffenheim. But Hertha again managing to pull the rabbit out of the hat a little bit and find a very convincing victory, albeit one that was kicked off by a very fortunate piece of luck in the case of the own goal.
Yeah, and look, Hoffenheim, they lose ground in kind of the mid-table battle, obviously with Freiburg picking up that draw and Wolfsburg with that late win.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, Hertha take a step towards joining Hoffenheim and moving it up into that group, if you like. So yeah, and a result. I don't think, we've been talking to you throughout the game. I don't think we anticipated a 3-0 win to Hertha at the start of the game, and certainly after the first half, and certainly half time, Hoffenheim looked the stronger team.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what really killed off Hoffenheim, this is the key difference between the first and second half, was actually losing Bebu. I've just actually read up, so he picked up a knock in the first half, and it seemed like that was actually what caused him to be substituted, because I thought it was a very strange substitution. They took him off, they brought on the Bayer, the striker, who was only 17. He's from the youth system. Hoffenheim don't have any strikers at the minute, so Bebu was the last standing striker in the senior team, if you will. So the moment he went off, they weren't really going to have any firepower back to the lead. So it was going to be, from that point, very difficult for them to go and try and win the game. They've had no Andre Kamaric as well, their star striker. He's currently out injured, so they're not in a good spot there. And you know what? For a 17-year-old striker, I thought Bayer actually did pretty well. He got himself into some good positions. Had a very good shot at the end, which was well saved by Jarstein in the Hertha Berlin goal. Yeah, I just think this was a game of bad luck in so many different ways. I find from their own goal to losing Bebu to injury, those two things really just completely knocked any sort of wind out of their sails. And then, to concede just 2 minutes after you've conceded your first goal, it really, at that point, doesn't look good, especially when you don't have a striker who can kind of bail you out and get you back into the game. Hertha will be very happy with this victory. They played very well. It will be a big part of getting some actual confidence in the team. You think about the likes of Krzysztof Piątek, who's kind of been in the spotlight over the past 2 weeks. He came on. He looked pretty decent. He seemed energetic. He seemed up for pressing the ball. He was brought on actually playing on the left wing rather than his traditional centre forward role. He looked like a fresh pair of legs, and he was putting in effort, which is something that you like to see. And it seems like Lebadia has these players running for him, putting in the effort and wanting to have a bit of confidence and be a bit outgoing, as we saw in the Cunha goal. So actually quite a lot of optimism and a lot of plus points that Hertha Berlin can take out of this game. It's just a matter of, can they sustain it beyond the new manager bounce? Can they take this into the next season? Because that will be the crucial definition of this side, because they've got so much quality, and it would be an absolute waste for them not to even get near European football next year. That has to be the priority, and hopefully Lebadia will be the man to lead them there.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll come back to you and Dami for the final word in just a moment. I'm just going to run through the full-time scores, which won't take long because there are only 5 results. But Dortmund 4-0 winners against Schalke, a big win for them in the derby. Raf Guerrero with 2 goals. Erling Haaland opened the scoring earlier, and Torgan Hazard as well. Leipzig are held to a 1-1 draw against Freiburg. Freiburg, who scored early through Gold, but Yusuf Poulsen headed in an equaliser before some late dramas. Robin Kosch's late winner for Freiburg ruled out for offside. In the battle of 16 versus 18, it predictably ended up as a goalless draw between Fortuna Düsseldorf and SC Paderborn. Both sides probably trying not to lose and ended up cancelling each other out. So I'm glad the two Luke and Dami didn't get that game, and I'm glad no one chose to take that game. As we talked to Luke, Hoffenheim, a disappointing 3-0 defeat at home to Hertha Berlin. Hertha Berlin will take a lot of confidence from that with their new manager, and definitely have something, and definitely over these last 9 games or so would definitely have something to build on. And finally, Wolfsburg, a late winner to take the 3 points away at Augsburg and push themselves into 6th spot. Daniel Ginczek with that late winner to give Wolfsburg those 3 points. So we'll come back to both Luke and Dami when they are set. So we'll bring Luke first in, and then we'll bring Dami. So just to kind of round off, I've just got a couple questions to round off. What was it? Describe to me, because obviously I've been just rattling off results here or there, but what was it like to watch a full game of football for the first time in about 2 months or so? What was it like, the whole thing?
Oh, it was really good fun. I missed it.
Yeah, same as well. I definitely missed it. I think the best part for me at times was just, especially with them Dortmund scoring 4 goals, it was just really lovely to hear that sound of when the ball hits the back of the net. I don't know. It's just something in me. It's just so it just makes me feel so good. So it was good fun. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously there's a few more Bundesliga games to go for the weekend. We've got 4 left. Maybe I should have asked you at the beginning or the end, but as a kind of final sort of question, who do you see winning? Do you see Bayern winning the Bundesliga? Are they the ones you guys would pick, or on the back of, Demi, on the back of Dortmund's performance, are they going to be there fighting to the final day of the season?
I expect them to be fighting. No, I do expect them to be fighting, but there's not really much you can really take from this performance. I'm being honest with you. Schalke didn't really turn up today, and I would like to think they'll probably have harder challenges from even teams who are below Schalke. if I'm being honest with you, in the remaining games that they would play. So it's not really much I can really take away from it. But in terms of like, yeah, not much. But I guess you could always say it shows that they haven't, forgotten what they're still here for despite a 2-month layoff. The players are still here. They're still, their mentality is still there. They know they're still fighting for this league title. They're still in it, well, more than very much in it. And yeah, I think it's a lot. It shows that they're up for it, and they probably I think there's a good chance we'll go down to the final day. I mean, obviously my money would still be on Bayern heads, just purely because it is Bayern. They've been here, done it on numerous and multiple occasions. You know what I mean? So yeah, I would still back Bayern to win it, but it's going to be tight for sure. It's going to be a close one indeed.
Yeah, and Luke, do you have Bayern as your pick as the favourite to win the league?
Yeah, I would have to say so, because I think the difference is actually Dortmund not having the fans is quite a big thing. So when you're in a title race for the side against a side who have the experience that Bayern Munich do, you're going to run into tough occasions. Like they might have a game, sort of 2 or 3 games left. I haven't seen their fixture list, admittedly, but they might have a game where they come unstuck a little bit, and they might need support from the fans to get them over the line. That's not going to happen. So it's going to be all down to the players and their own experience. So on that front, Bayern absolutely demolished them. So you would expect Bayern to go and claim the title again. But as Danny said, I think Dortmund seem like an incredibly strong side at the minute, and there's no reason why they shouldn't push Bayern all the way. And I think that's exactly what the fans will be wanting. I think that would be a very reasonable show for Lucien Favre to put out.
Yeah, and we'll be doing as much coverage as we can of the remaining Bundesliga fixtures as the kind of conclusion of this exciting season is upon us, and will be taking place over the next few weeks. So yeah, I think this is a good place to kind of wrap up on. My thanks to both Luke and Dami for coming on today and covering these games. I'm sure that you guys enjoyed it, watching the games, live games for once, and not like past highlights or YouTube highlights or compilations of games from the yesteryears. But thanks to you both for coming on. Keep it on Raw Sport, the Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all our social media. We will continue to cover as much live football as we can. And yeah, hope everyone has a good weekend, and we will be back with another broadcast next week.